Crystal.
I'm AJ.
I'm Erin.
And I'm Jenny.
And we're with the Clean Classrooms for Carolina Kids team.
We're here to help you understand how to participate in the water section of our program.
To begin, let's overview the steps to collect water samples. The first step is to prepare to sample by choosing a time to sample, gathering your materials, and notifying staff that you will be sampling. Next, you will collect first draw water samples at each designated drinking and cooking water tap following the order on the chain of custody. Fill out the chain of custody document marking the time as you collect each sample. Continue until you've completed the chain of custody. Then prepare the samples for shipping back to RTI. Finally, schedule a UPS pickup for your samples. Now that we've covered a brief overview of sampling, we will review how to complete the water sampling steps in more details with the members from our Clean Classroom for Carolina Kids team. Written instructions on how to sample are also available on our website's Training and Resources page, which you can get to by scanning the QR code on the screen or visiting our website at cleanwaterforuskids.org or visiting the short link on the screen.
Your box will be where you normally receive packages. The box will be rectangular in shape, and there are 18 bottles per box. So if you have more than 18 taps for drinking and cooking, you will receive more than one box, for example, here.
Let's get ready to sample.
Once you get your sample kit and bring it in, make sure it has all the materials you need. It will come with bubble wrap, which you should save to reuse. It will come with several materials in a small bag here. And then it will contain the number of bottles you requested for sampling, up to 18 bottles per sample kit. And so if you have more than 18 bottles that you need for drinking and cooking taps, you will get a second box. These bottles will be in a larger bag.
In the small bag of materials, you'll find a stop page advising you to read through all the instructions for successful water samples, a return label for when you ship everything back, your instructions, and a chain of custody document.
Once you receive your sample kit and confirm all of the contents inside, you can set a date to sample. Once you set a date to sample, make sure you put it on your calendar, the school calendar, and you alert others that typically are in the building. And you can set a phone alert and email your staff. Make sure you communicate to your school community not to use any water in the building until you complete sample collection the day of sampling. If water has been used in the prior 8 hours, do not collect samples that day and wait and go back another day. We want to know what's in that first sip. The longer that water sits in piping and plumbing, the more likely that we may find lead at the tap. This is why we collect first draw water samples, typically after an overnight period where water is not used for at least 8 hours, or after a weekend when people are away. If your facility is closed for the summer, holidays, or more than 72 hours, you must take additional steps, which you can follow on a QR code here on our water sample instructions, to flush taps 2 to 3 days before sampling. If you come in and you notice that somebody has used water in the building, do not start your sample collection and set a date and time for another day.
Let's collect our samples. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I grabbed box 1, which I did. I've already set up everything I need here. So we're going to follow the order of bottles on our chain of custody document, starting with the lowest numbered sample. So in this case, I have sample 01, which is our first sample we're going to collect. After I collect sample 1, I'm going to fill out my date and time of collection on my chain of custody, and then move on to collect sample bottle number 2. So you can see here, sample 0002.
Okay, now it's time to sample. So when we go ahead and sample, you will open the lid and make sure that you do not touch the inside of the lid or the inside of the bottle. Place the lid facing up, and then you'll turn the tap on as you normally would with normal flow And make sure you do not overflow it and stop before the end. Take the lid and put it on tight, give it a tug, and you're done. Okay, now that I collected my first water sample, I'm going to write the date and the time of sample collection, and then go to the next sample. Avoid common mistakes like washing your hands before collecting first draw water samples.
Or removing the aerator from your sink before you collect a sample.
Or not using water normally in the building the week before.
And if your school is closed the week before you collect samples, use our flushing guidance to flush your taps 2 to 3 days before you collect your samples.
And make sure that you don't turn off any shut-off valves for the taps before you sample.
So tips for water fountains. At least 72 hours before you sample, you'll want to go and see where water hits the faucet. So you'll come in with a Sharpie and mark off where that hits. For the water bottles you want to come in at an angle, and if you miss some of it, it's all right. You can just keep filling it up and make a note on the COC.
If you have water fountains that have been shut off since the pandemic, you should turn them on and flush them 2 to 3 days before your sample collection date so that you can use them in the future, even if you do plan to shut them off again. Okay, now that I dated and signed my chain of custody document, I need to make sure that I checked all that apply here too. So I sampled when the facility was operating normally, which means that it hasn't been closed for more than 3 days. And once I finished that, I'm going to put the chain of custody document in this smaller Ziploc bag. I'll take out the label here, and you want to zip this up to make sure no water gets the paper wet. And then the next thing that you want to do is put all of your sampled water bottles together in the large Ziploc bag. If you did have 18 bottles in your kit, it will fill the box. So you want to put the bottles on their side, 6 to a row, and stack it 3 rows high. And then you'll go ahead and you'll also close this large Ziploc bag. Make sure you don't have extra air in there. Okay. Next step will be to fill the bottles into the bag, laying it flat. Okay, once you get the sample bottles back in the box, make sure you put your chain of custody in the box as well. Stick that inside. Put your bubble wrap at the top here. And then you are going to take the label and place the label over your old label like so. Take the sticky off, tape it, and then find some packing tape and tape the top. And you're ready to call UPS for pickup. Okay, I think we're all done with sampling and ready to schedule the UPS pickup now.
Okay, there's a website or a number. I'll give them a call and have them come pick up.
Sounds great. Yeah, it says it's 1-800-742-5877. If you call after 7 a.m. and before 10 a.m., they'll come the same day.
Hi, I'd like to schedule a UPS pickup.
You need your phone number and tracking number.
Oh, the tracking number is 1Z2. What's the confirmation number? Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. We can go ahead and put the box outside where we normally do our pickups. And it says here that samples must be shipped back within 10 days. So let's just make sure they do actually come and pick them up.
Now we've collected all of our samples. We've got them packed up and ready to ship. We've called UPS and scheduled pickup. So I'm going to put them outside in our classic pickup location, and we're going to wait for UPS to pick them up. If I notice that the box is still there tomorrow after UPS was supposed to pick them up, I'll call again.
Thanks for participating in our program.